Alright, so this is my Uncle Watson Budden, and I put this here just to give you an idea of the history of the Vikings and Sops here. In 1937, that man discovered these pitfalls in the forest. Big holes in the ground, about 12 by 12, 10, 12 feet deep. There was 5 of them right close together, and they're on the caribou migration route. In the 1960s, when Helga Ingstead started finding Viking things in Lancet Meadows, Uncle Watson contacted Mr. Ingstead to discover Vikings in Lancet Meadows and invited him to come to Sops here. He came here, and Uncle Watson took him in the forest and showed him these big holes in the ground. After Ingstead was finished with his work in Lancet Meadows, he wrote a book, The Norse Discovery of America. There he is. And in that book, he dedicates a chapter to his visit here in White Bay. It's called Investigations in White Bay, chapter 34. And in that book, Ingstead described what Uncle Watson showed him that day. And here's what he had to say about it. He said, no native groups anywhere in North America were known to dig such big holes in the ground to capture animals. But, he says, the forests of Norway are full of such holes in the ground used by ancient people to capture reindeer. At the end of the chapter he says this, he says, the ancient Norwegian method of hunting should be kept in mind in our assessment of these holes in the ground in Sops here, for it seems natural that the Norsemen or Vikings at Lancet Meadows would have found their way to these favourable parts in White Bay. Now that's a quote from Helga Ingstead. The man himself, the great Viking discoverer, he's credited with discovering the only Viking site ever in all of North America. Lancet Meadows. And he needs to go to saying, what we got in Sops here is Viking. Now the government will have you believe that he was right about Lancet Meadows, but wrong about Sops here. What's going on? Alright, so that's a little bit of the background on it, right? About my uncle's part in it. Now, then I want to show you the Viking book collection. I got this here just to let you know that, show people I got a pretty good idea what I'm talking about. I'm not just making this stuff up as I go. Alright? I got about, I'd say I got close to 50 books in here now, and a lot of them are really old. Right? These are there in front, they're well over 100 years old. This one here is the oldest one I got. He's 166 years old. He's published in 1841. And that book contains the very first English translation of the ancient Norse sagas. And the ancient Norse sagas are stories about where the Vikings travelled 1,000 years ago. And in them stories, the Vikings describe what they see as they travel. They describe the geography of what they comes across. And what I've learned is them stories, the geography of them stories, is a perfect match with the geography of Sops here. I kid you not. Now, there's 2 stories that match really good. You said, guy said you got lots of time, so I'll tell you about them. The first story is that of Leif the Lucky. Now, like I said, I'm studying it in this ancient book. Right? It's the first translation ever in English, so there's nothing added on or taken away. Like every time something gets translated, right, it gets, some meaning is lost. But the original translation is the best shot we got. And that's what I'm studying, right? Alright. According to them stories, in the year 994, Leif the Lucky come down from Greenland. And he come down and he discovered Baffin Island, he called it Flat Stone Land, Helu Land in their language. Then he come down and discovered Labrador, he called it Markland, Woodland. And then from somewhere in Markland, he said he sailed out to the open sea. And he got caught with a northeast wind. He didn't get very far, he caught a northeast wind. And he couldn't say where he was going for 2 or 3 days. Now, if you go out from southern Labrador and you catch a northeast wind, you're going to be driven southwest. A nor'easter is going to drive you southwest. And White Bay runs southwest. Now get this, the story says they couldn't see where they were going for a couple of days, 2 or 3 days, and after the fog cleared, they saw land. And they went to the land, I can show you better, and the land was an island. And the island that they saw lay to the north of a big headland. And the headland ran out eastward into the ocean. So I think Leif the Lucky got driven down the bottom of the White Bay, and the land and the island he went to was Sops Island, this one there. As it matches, the island lays to the north of a big headland, and the big headland runs out eastward. Boy it is. It gets even better. The story says then that from their position near the island, they sailed into a sound that lay there between the island and the headland. They sailed due west into the sound and went aground on sandbars in front of a great salmon river. And if you sail west from between the island and Budden, you got nowhere to go only up to the Bay River. And if you turn your course a little tiny bit, you go over to where you guys live. Or where your motel is to another river. So I mean, you pick your choice. They're both west from there, right? So match is perfect. Now I got to tell you the next story. In order for you to really appreciate the stone, you've got to know this story. Alright, so these come in 994. Now, they had a few expeditions in between, but now, by the year 1007 now they're ready to colonize. So 13 years later, right? So in the year 1007, I get this from the sagas as well, the story says that 160 Vikings left from Greenland to come over and colonize, to set up their community. They were led by an Icelander. His name was Thorfinn Karlsefni. Thorfinn Karlsefni. Strange name, that was his name. And the story, the geography that story describes is also a perfect match. So that story says they come over the same way Leif did. And we'll pick it up here. They said they were sailing south along the land. And the land lay to the starboard. Right? So you're sailing south along the eastern side of the North Peninsula. The land is to the starboard, to the right. The story says the land became bay indented. Look at all the bays coming down that side of the coast. And it says, at the mouth of one of these bays, there was a big island. And the only bay here with a big island in its mouth, I mean, we're in it now. That's right. And get this, so it said there was a big island at the mouth of this one bay. And the island was surrounded by strong currents. So they called the island Current Island, Stromby Island in their language. And the fjord itself, or the bay itself, they called it Current Bay. Strom Fjord was their word for it. And they called it that because of all the strong currents that goes around the island, went around the island, and the strong currents they found in the bay. And you guys know about strong currents on Sops Island, they're still there. And you know about them, they're still there. Right? With the river and the islands and the rising tide, I mean, you've got to create currents there. Anyway, so then the story says they went into the fjord and unloaded their boats and built their houses. Settled. Right? But it gets even better. After they built their houses, the leader, Thorfinn, he wanted to get away from the crowds. So he took 10 or 12 of his closest friends with him and they sailed on further south. And the story said they left from Strom Fjord and they sailed east and south along the line. And they travelled until they came to a river that ran down from the mountains and into a lake. And from the lake, the saltwater pond, from the lake it emptied out into the ocean. And where it met the ocean, there was such a big sandbar that you could only get into the lake with your boat at high tide. Now if you travel east and south along the land from Sops Arm, you're going to come to a place today called Saltwater Pond. And at Saltwater Pond, a river runs down from the mountains into a lake. From the lake it empties into the ocean. And where the lake meets the ocean, there's such a big sandbar that you can only get into the lake today at full high tide. It hasn't changed in 1,000 years, exactly the same. The Viking saga said that on this sandbar there was a field of tall grass growing. He's still there. The Viking saga said that at this place they found grapes. And in Saltwater Pond you can pick gooseberries. They turn purple in August when they ripen them, and they look like a grape. And they grow on a little bush. They got prickly things on them. So you can imagine what you consider them, vines and grapes. It fits perfect. So that's the story, and it's a perfect match with the geography of this area.
Definitely.
So now we got the knolls in the ground that Ingstad himself, the great Viking discoverer, so good as says they're Viking, right? And now we got the matching geography of these ancient stories. And now I'm going to show you some of the stuff they left behind here. Alright. We needed to know that story, especially about Thorfinn Karlsefni, in order to get this rock. And I'll explain the rock to you. But I got to tell you one thing before we start on the rock. You see, the day I stood on this rock, I took this photograph. Okay, but then I made a mistake. This was the first artifact I ever found. And in my naivety, I said, well, probably the best thing to do here is leave this where it's to and get an expert to come with me, perhaps a government expert. And because if you move stuff like sometimes you lose information, so I said, perhaps the best thing to do is leave it where it's to until I get the expert. A year and 9 months later, after being frustrated with this whole heck, I finally realised I'm not getting no help from no government expert to come with me to do this. So if that stone had any chance, I got to go get it. It was going to be gone altogether, right? So I went and got it. But now the thing is, it deteriorated in that year and 9 months. Water was in the ground, see, it was covered with all kinds of moss and grass and vegetation was soaking up the water. But after I tore all that away, now it wouldn't be protected at all. And now it really started to deteriorate, right? But the good news is, I mean, I can still see the marks on the stone, but you guys probably can't. They're clearly visible on the picture I took that first day. And there's no mistake, I mean, there's no mistake there's the same rock. Like if you look at the 3 notches on this picture, which are 3 holes on the side. Right? I mean, there they are. What's the chances of that being a different rock? Look at the snake's head up there, like. See the snake's head? His mouth, his lower jaw, his upper jaw, his eye, and his back of his head. I mean, there it is on the rock. Huh? There it is on the picture. So I mean, there's no mistake. This is the same rock.
You took that picture?
Right? Yes. This is the picture I took the first day I found it. And I was on private property and there was somebody coming. And I had scrabbled. I flicked it back in the hole I dug it out of and tried to cover it up and I took off. And I didn't go back for a year and 9 months. Alright, so now, anyway, the marks are clearly visible on the picture. The Viking marks. You're telling me. And the lights are low. So look at that. Alright, now there's the Viking language here, look. They're basically a series of straight lines with other lines coming out. Right? Alright, now when the Vikings put their marks on stuff, like we go left to right. They could have went left to right, they could have go right to left, top to bottom, bottom to top, diagonal, didn't matter. They just picked a spot and went. Okay? So the marks on my rock are diagonal. They're coming this way. Down the stone. I'm going to show them to you. I have a bear stopper. A little pointer. I'm going to use my watch. Alright, now the first one is like they're white marks against the dark of the stone, okay? The first one is a straight line coming down there, and you got half the arrow tip on it. Straight line, half the arrow tip. But I admit he's a bit difficult to see. There he is. I don't know if you can see that over there.
I can see it on here easier.
Can you see it there easier?
Yeah.
Alright, well below that there's another one. You got like a sideways Y, eh? Here he is.
Yep.
Right? Below that you got a straight line with a circle at the end of the line. You see that? Alright, now then, look, there they are. The straight line with the half the arrow tip is a T. The sideways Y is a K. There he is. And the straight line with a circle at the end of it, there it is, now it's an M. So the first 2 marks on my stone in Viking language are TK. The initials of the leader. The leader's name was Thorfinn Karlsefni. His initials are TK, and I think it's his initials they got on that stone. And this tells me this is where he come, this is where the colony was established. And the man who, Karlsefni himself, owned this rock, and it was his apes I got found next to door to where I found this stone. Yeah, that's something right. So that gives us the first European colony ever established anywhere in all of North America. It happened here exactly 1,000 years ago this summer. Now, buddy, that's something right.
Wonderful.
Listen, will you make a movie or what?
Yeah.
You're going to have to give me some rights to this DVD here I'll make there. Alright, so I just explained the marks to you, the Viking language on it. The leader's initials. Thorfinn Karlsefni. Now, every time they found a rock with Viking language on it, I guess over in Scandinavia, Denmark and places, Greenland, Iceland, they always got snakes on them. And there's a snake on my rock. You can still see him, look. That's his bottom jaw, his top jaw, his eye, back of his head, and his body goes down the side. So it fits. Snake on the rocks in Scandinavia with Viking language, snake on the rock here with Viking language. It all works. Now, next thing I show you with that rock is that he got a map of Newfoundland on it. Now you can't see him so good there now because the northern peninsula is missing more away. But have a look at the picture again. The black is the land and the white is the water.
Oh, you can see it there.
You can see it now, can't you? Are you Morris? Well, do you think you see the map of Newfoundland?
Video.
No, he's right. Right side up.
Oh yes. Up this way. I see it.
Now the only thing off about this map is
It's the bottom because they weren't there.
the bottom part wouldn't is want to get their marks on top of it too, right?
Yeah.
But the only thing missing is the Avalon Peninsula. And the Avalon Peninsula there is like a series of islands. I'll start at the northern peninsula. There's the northern tip of the peninsula. There's White Bay that we're in now. The Bayford Peninsula, Notre Dame Bay, Bonavista Peninsula, Bonavista Bay, Trinity Bay, nailed into the Avon. The Avon is like a series of islands. And maybe it was still rising from the ocean 1,000 years ago. Then up in the boot, well next to it, Buren Peninsula.
Yep.
Now the south coast, I admit, is kind of obscured because they got their marks in all over there. You can kind of make it out. Over there, you got Port of Bass. And then you got Cape St. George sticking way to the west. Right? Come on up. I can even see the Bay of Islands, that. Bay of Islands running in there, that. And then you got all the western side of the Northern Peninsula. Back up to St. Anthony. Back to Wicklow again. Just there, isn't it?
Yep.
Probably see it better on your camera, can you?
Yeah, see right there?
Oh yeah, see a lot better.
Yep. Beautiful.
Man, you can see the marks there perfect.
Yeah.
Huh? They're there, anyway.
Oh yeah.
Alright, so now you see the
Perfect.
map of Newfoundland in there. I got to show you something else.
Okay.
You'll agree that the map of Newfoundland is basically shaped like an arrow tip. Triangle shape. Would you agree with that? Alright. So this stone is also a sunstone. We're studying the sun. And these things are also common in Denmark and Greenland, Iceland, all over Scandinavia. And what they used to do to study the sun, they would use them. They'd use it as a compass, and a clock, and a calendar. When you think about these things, I mean, we go to look at the wall for a calendar, but really it's all about the planet going around the sun, right? That's like time of day. It's all about the planet spinning on its axis, right? So it's all about the sun, really, isn't it? So, but they couldn't go to their calendar. They couldn't look at their timepiece. So they had to have a way to figure it out. And this is what they done. So what they done is they line up the three tips. This tip of the arrow here, they line it to the 12 o'clock noonday sun. I got the same thing down there. And they knew that 12 o'clock always shows you south. Morse knows that for sure. It's still true today, right? So once this arrow tip was pointing towards the sun, that showed them south. This point of the arrow now showed them east, and this one there showed them west. And of course they knew north was opposite south. Once the stone was in place, they didn't have to look at the sun when they were trying to build their houses anymore. They didn't have to look at the sun and burn their eyes. Now they look at the rock for direction. They know that was south, east, they know where everything was south. They never had to look at the sun anymore. Okay, so that's the compass aspect of it. The clock aspect of it is to just study the shadow cast. Right? I mean, school kids does that today with sticks, right? Shadows are longest in the morning and in the evening, shortest in the middle of the day. So depending on how long the shadow was, they could tell you roughly the time of day. And the most ingenious part of this thing is that it is a calendar. Home time of year. And they got these three notches there on the side. If you study the sun at 12 noon, which is what the Vikings done, the sun appears to be rise and fall in the sky throughout the year. He's the highest in the sky June 21st, the longest day of the year. He's the lowest in the sky December 21st, shortest day of the year. So the Viking guys, they get back there, some on a special viewing platform, perhaps on a rock or something. And when the sun would line up with this notch here, they knew it was June 21st, summer solstice. The sun is highest in the sky. But now the days start to get shorter, right? So the sun goes lower in the sky. They're measuring every day at noon. Until now you come to this notch. Now this is showing them the fall equinox, September 21st. But the days got to get shorter, as you know, right? So the sun falls again in the sky until he's at his lowest point, December 21st, the winter solstice. But as we know, the days got to get longer, so the sun got to go higher in the sky. So now the sun starts to rise, and now back at this notch. Now you're up back to March 21st, exactly.
Yeah, my birthday.
The spring equinox, your birthday.
Yeah.
Born in the equinox, cool. Vikings will love you. So right now it's March 21st, right? But now the days got to get longer, so the sun got to continue to get higher in the sky at noon until you're back to June 21st. So the sun's going up and down, yeah. So they measure, depending on where the sun was to, in relationship with them three notches, they knew the time of year. And they probably measured twice. Like if the sun was there one day, and he was a bit higher the next, they knew they were heading towards summer. If he was a bit lower the next day, they were heading towards fall. And that's how they figured out their time of year. And knowing the time of year was extremely important to them, because they could only leave here to go back home in the summer and early fall because of all the ice in the North Atlantic. They had to know when to leave. If they left around time, they're not going to make it. They're going to get caught in ice or in a big fall storm. And this stone told them when it was safe to go. Isn't that amazing? Smart. How smart was it? But these things are common all through Scandinavia. And where I found this stone, you can see the sun rise in the east. You won't see see the sun all day long. You can see her setting the west. You do that day after day, right through the year. And that's a requirement for a sunstone. You gotta have access to the sun and you want to study the sun anyway.
Yeah.
Of course, obviously, right? So that makes it a sunstone. Now, what else I got to tell you? There's one more thing you need to know about. This stuff there. Now the government tries to tell me this natural. The government actually believed that running water ran over that rock. And not only did they create Viking alphabet, they created the first two to be the leaders and initials of the colony, and they created the map of Newfoundland, and put a snake on there.
Beautiful water.
All coincidence, the government likely believe.
Yes, sir.
Naturally, tries to say. Now, and we know it's not natural. I mean, them notches are obviously put in by a tool. And this stuff here is not natural. They're all on this side here. This rock got mortar on it. This is seashell mortar, sand mixed with seashell. Make a type of mortar, ancient mortar. And this is something Vikings used to do. And it's mostly all on this edge here. Look, can you see it, this stuff? I've looked at the samples then under magnifying glass and you can see that little piece of seashell still on. And what I think that was, the man who made this stone was a master. He was a master stone worker. He done all of his work, he put in his notches, he put the map of Newfoundland under, he put in all his language and stuff. And when he had it all done, his final touch was to put this edge of dark stuff down there. And what he done was, by doing this, he created an illusion. By putting this dark edge on this side of mortar, it made it look like his map and his writing was all in the center of the stone. But in fact, it's not. In fact, the map never got off to the left of the center. But this kind of made it centered up. You see what I mean, Mort? You see that, man? Really, the map is off to the left of the stone. But by putting that there, he made it look like it was in the center. You can especially see it in the picture. I mean, it looks dead center in that picture, doesn't it? But the truth be told, it was really over to the left. And he was a smart man, I think, to come up with that. What? Yeah, well, that's no ordinary stone. There's all those things, man. It's amazing. And one of these men used as a battle stone. Because I think they lugged that around with them and made a map of Newfoundland as they went. Right? Sat it up to the sun every day, or the North Star, every once in a while, and with their mortar and stuff, created their map. It was pretty wild, isn't it? But there's nothing natural about that rock. It's been worked by men. And I got experts outside the country telling me it's been worked by men. Get this. An archaeologist from Greenland, Klaus Andreasen, he seen this picture. I emailed to him, and he said, "Kid, we got the same kind of marks on stones in Greenland, iron and chisel marks." He didn't say similar, he said the same. And get this, when the Vikings come to Newfoundland to colonize, to settle, where'd they leave from? Greenland. Wouldn't you expect them to bring their customs and traditions with them? Do the same sorts of things there they done back home?
Definitely.
Of course you would. So, there's a wall of rock, man. I'm convinced this is where they set up their colony. And this is one so sure. You got the leader's name, in Viking language, on this amazing stone. An average Viking didn't get his initials on a stone.
Nope.
Only an important man had a stone like this. And the leader was an important man, eh? I mean, he was like the mayor, eh? Alright, that's the stone. Now, to the west of where I found the stone, on the same side of my head, I found what's left of a cairn, a pile of rocks. And I just got that made up there. So all I found was on the edge of the bank, you can see the big flat base rocks, and then all the other rocks are down below on the beach, just fell down, eh? Right? Anyway, when I found the cairn, from my book collection, I learned that the Vikings had a habit of every time they built a cairn, they had to bless the cairn with their magic marks, their runes, their language. They thought it was magic as well, right? So I looked for the magic marks. I looked all low on rocks, couldn't find them nowhere. And then all of a sudden I seen that bone. And I found the marks on the bone at the base of the cairn. There's the bone I found there now. That bone was at the base of the cairn, and that bone got more Viking language on it. Now they're in miniature, but that's common in Scandinavia. They're only about a centimetre long. And it starts about this edge out there, facing us. It goes all the way down that edge. There's one woman there that said, like when you make a pie and you take your fork and go around the edge, it looks something like that. And it do really. Can you see them like iron knife cut marks in there? You see them on either? And they're little lines with other lines coming out of them. In the Viking language, there's lines with other lines coming out of them. And it matches, right? Very nice. Oh, you can see them really good there on yours. Oh man, you had a great picture of them. Perfect. You can see them now, don't you, buddy? I get your name forgot.
Murray.
Murray, you see some real good, eh?
Oh yeah.
Probably a camera like that would be good to help me translate them.
So they're not tooth marks. That's for sure.
There you go. Guess what the government tries to say they are?
Tooth marks.
Animal tooth marks,
No,
exactly.
they're not.
No, I mean animal tooth mark be all over the place.
And be straight in too, some of them.
Yeah, these things are all right nice and neat, all right in a line. All down one edge, eh?
Yeah, wonderful people.
So now you can't go around selling this stuff to the world.
No,
Maybe
exactly.
these. Huh?
No.
Oh no, we can't do that.
Well, let's see what you do with that. Or better talking like I can get off the topic, I can talk you blind. Ran up for hours. Sorry, money. Okay, this display here, all the stuff in the case is what I found. And everything in this case, I might add, all come from the same beach. A special beach. And I won't say what name it is.
Okay.
Now, the stuff on the wall comes from my Viking book collection that you've seen up in the garage. Right? So these are pictures of real, authentic Viking artifacts written by Viking experts. Okay? This picture here shows a smith's toolkit from the 8th century, a Viking smith's toolkit from the 8th century. So this kit is dated to the year 750. The tools in this kit are 1250 years old, and they're so well preserved that some of them still works. So to give you an idea how long Viking iron can last. And Viking iron lasts so long because they use glass in their iron. They put down so much iron and put down a layer of glass, layer of iron, layer of glass. And the glass up to protect the inner layers of iron. Okay, so this stuff is expert documented 1250 years old. Still exists, still works. So if it can last 1250 years in Europe, why can't it last 1,000 years here in Sops here? Viking iron lasts a long time. Alright, I'm going to show you some matches with this early Viking smith's kit. I mean, this is we're talking the year 750, and I got stuff that matches this. And if that's correct, then the Vikings I got here, and I got stuff here 250 years before Leif Lucky ever come over. You're talking early Viking age. So it's crazy. All right, let me show you some matches. Look at this tool there. Look, there's a pair of pliers with a drill at the end of the handle. Right? Basically. I took that pair of pliers, I put it over there. I blew it up, just twisted around. It was the same. I took that picture from there, okay? What I'm going to show you, Mikey, what I got from there. From the rivet over there, I got all this handle and the drill still attached. And there is number 7. And if you look closely at that, Morse, up at the end of the handle, you can see the little rivet hole.
Yeah.
You've seen it before, haven't you?
Yeah.
I was telling you before, yes. You can see the little rivet hole, Murray, where the two pieces used to be joined together.
Yep.
You see the rivet hole?
Yep.
So I got from a rivet back. I mean, it looks pretty convincing to me. And have you ever seen a pair of pliers with a drill at the end of the handle?
No.
No.
Not nowadays.
No, I mean, we got to buy a pair of pliers and we got to buy a drill, Canadian Tire, even today. But obviously this is something Viking people done. There it is, those two examples in that kit. Let me show you another one. This here is now a pair of tongs for holding iron neck. And I took that from there, I put it there. And what I'm going to show you, Mike, I got from there where he broke in the rivet hole, I got all this handle there. Look how big he is now, he tapers off very small. Look at number 11 in my kit in the wall there. Same thing, isn't it? Now, look at this. When you look at this kit, look, the handle that I just showed you, this long handle from there, from the rivet back, he's about twice as long as this handle from the rivet back, the drill on. And you look at them two pieces, the long one in my kit is twice as long as the handle with the drill on. So the proportion is right too. Okay? So another one. This here's a punch from that kit. I took the punch there, put in there. But halfway down I got a twist on it. Look at number 19 in my kit. There's a punch with a twist on it halfway down. Looks out like, I think.
Yep.
Huh? Let me show you another one. This here is the experts say this is a reference to the Viking god Odin. And it's put in the toolkit to protect the tools from a Viking thief. If a Viking come along and seen this, he said, oh, that's God. I better not touch these tools, he wouldn't steal them. Alright, that's what it says, it's there to protect the tools. Look at the one in my kit, looks like that. Number 8. He's there, isn't he? Same friggin' thing. Now I know 2 of them looks like a washer.
Yeah.
But I mean, if it was a wash, you'd expect to find more than one.
Yeah.
I didn't. Only one. And it fits there, perfect. Let me show you more. This here's a piece of raw iron. What the smith would do after he would finish making his tools, his nails, he'd have a piece of iron left over. He stored it in like a little bar, right? The next time he needed a nail, he wouldn't have to go back to the bog and start over. He'd already just take this piece and go on from there, right? Mm. I got a piece of iron in my kit stored in the bar. There is number 9, isn't it? Yeah. Stored for later use. We need just a chunk of iron waiting to be used. Is this something? I don't know. All the tools in this kit are made of iron. All the tools in my kit are made of iron. There's 2 pieces of metal in this kit that's not iron. They're early bronze. One of them is what the experts call an amulet, meant to be worn around your neck as a good luck charm. In my kit, there's 2 pieces of metal that's early bronze, or copper perhaps one might be, but there's 2 types of metal that's not iron. One of them is an amulet meant to be worn around your neck. You can see the little hole where the string used to go through. Like a little locket. Coincidence? Maybe. Maybe not. Yeah. I know we got a big flower pattern in there. You might think that makes it modern, but it's not. Viking people thought they were master metal workers. And flower, oily decorated metal like that is found in Viking graves all over England in particular. Alright, let me show you some more. This here is a Viking knife blade dug up in Greenland, Eastern Settlement, hometown of Leif the Lucky. Look how long and slim the knife blade is. Look how long and slim knife blade number 2 is in my kit. Right, Juanita?
Yeah.
From here, down, he's right there. All I missed is that little piece there for the handle, eh? Yeah. And look how small this knife blade is, I'm telling you, wouldn't it? Look how small the knife blade is, isn't it? Look how small knife blade number 3 is in my kit, little tiny knife blade. This here is a Viking hook from Norway, fish hook from Norway. Look at the fish hook in my kit. He's practically identical. No, I didn't know a fish hook. This is a fish hook and it can't change much, eh? But still, it still looks the same. This here is a Viking axe from Norway. And I put this here to demonstrate that some Viking axes, not all of them, but some Viking axes had hooks on them. And look at the hook on axe number 10 in my kit. See the big hook on that? Now then, this here is an example of a Viking file for your tools. This comes from a reputable Viking website, vikinganswerated.com. So here's a Viking file. Look at number 17 in my kit. Can you take it more? Damn right. This here is from the same website. This is an example of a Viking spoon auger, they call that. And they call it a spoon auger because the cutting edge is shaped like a spoon. They mount a T on it, wood, and every time you go to get it, you drill no way. Look at number 12 of my kit. I got a picture put next to him because he broke in two. But the picture shows what he looked like before he broke. And you can still see the spoon. You can clearly see it on the picture. You see that, Murray? You see the spoon? Alright, now I'm going to show you this. This here is from the Bayeux Tapestry, a famous French wall mat, and it's from France, and it's from the Viking Age. And it shows the Vikings going about their daily activities. This section of the mat shows them doing their boats. So I'd like to look at this man there. This man there got one of them tees, he got one of them spoon augers in his hand. He's drilling a hole. See that? Right there, working on his boat. This man there got an auger in his hand. No, you get the tea in, he's getting ready. He's not using it like that man is, but he's getting ready to use it. Right? We already discussed one of my kit. This man there got a fine woodworking tool in his hand. I call it an adze. right? It's obviously not an axe, but it's meant for fine woodwork, right? This man here is using one too, look. And look at the hooks on the end of that tool on here. And look at number 20 in my kit. It's a fine woodworking tool with hooks on it.
Yeah.
Right?
Isn't
Isn't he? Now one up, as you can see, he was there, one up is probably, you know, the end gone off there, but still you can see it. And that's still got cutting edge, you can still use that today. Take it and go on with it, start working. You still got edge on it, it's amazing. Now look, let me show you one more. This man there in this picture is using an axe chopping a tree, of course, you gotta start from, you know, building bolts. So he's using an axe. This man there is using an axe too and building a bolt, do I see that? Look at all the axes in my kit, 4 of them in the kit. So, based on the matches I've shown you, based on what I showed you here in the Smith's toolkit, and now based on the matches here with this bolt building tools, I think what we're talking about is a Viking Age bolt builder's kit. That's what I think I got. And to be a bolt builder, you had to be a smith, because you had to make your own tools. You couldn't go to a hardware store and buy tools. You had tools, you had to make them. So you had to be a smith to start with, and that's why you got the smith's tools in there. And then, because he was a smith, he made the bolt builder's tools. Right? And he made himself a warrior's axe. He made himself a hunting knife. And I think that's a skinning knife there, number 4. Skinning animals. So the man who owned this, he was a smith, he was a boat builder, he was a carpenter, he was a fisherman, he was a hunter, and he was a warrior. Who was that sound like? Yes, you guessed it. Viking! So I mean, if the shoe fits, I mean, there it is. I mean, what do you need, right?
Yeah.
There's the pictures, there's the stuff.
Well, who else could have left it here?
That's right, and if I'm wrong, who the hell left it there, right?
The archaic Indians didn't use nothing like
No,
that.
that's right, they never, sir. They never. So what I got found really is, I got a Viking boat rotting in this beach, and this toolkit was on the boat. And the wood from the kit was long gone, of course, and the wood from the boat was gone. But some of the nails and roll from the boat remained, and the tools in the kit remained. And I know I got a boat because right there, 42 to 45 proves there was a Viking boat there. They're what they call roves. And this one there is the best one I got, he's intact. And see the nail with the rove at the end of it? What they do, they put the nail through their 2 planks of their ship, and then they take a piece of hot iron, and they'd hammer the hot iron at the end of the nail, and it would weld on, what it would do. Today we'd use nut and bolt, or some kind of fastener, but that was their solution, eh? So oops, sorry, went in. So this is typical Viking style for building boats. But now, the wood is all gone, and even most of these are gone. I was lucky to find this one. So you can imagine how long that boat was sitting there. Now another reason I know I got a boat, because I got the anchor auger. I got the anchor chain behind you there, Murray. The anchor and anchor chain there, look. Come on, look at the what's left of that anchor one, even? More? Oh, the lights are bad there, man. I need to do something about that. Over there one, even? Just while there you get light.
Don't need light. Nope.
But look at what's left of the hooks on the anchor. I mean, you can tell it was an anchor by the hooks, eh?
Yeah.
But look what's left of them. Is there anything left of the hooks? How long was that sitting there? And look how uneven that iron is, ain't worse?
There wasn't in salt water, it was on the land.
No.
I found it in salt water on the beach. But look how uneven all it is. I mean, it's obviously not manufactured, it's obviously man-made, handmade. And guess what? Them sagas I talked about upstairs, after Carol Stephanie went back home, there was one more expedition come over that he talks about in the stories. That was Freydis, Eric the Red's daughter. And she come here with there was a group of her people, the Greenlanders, and there was a group of Icelanders. The story says she killed 30 of the Icelanders and took their boat. Because their boat was bigger. So she killed the Icelanders, took their boat, and they left one boat behind. Is this the boat I got found? I think it might be. But I can't be sure, can't prove it, but I think it might be. Because I found a boat, Viking style, with Viking tools left on it. And tools like this is not something that a Viking would leave behind. I mean, this is important stuff. It took them perhaps years to make all that, to gather it up, right? And this was important to them, so he wouldn't just toss it. But when she killed them, she couldn't take their stuff with her because someone might recognize, you got this fella's axe or you got this man's knife. Because she went home and told lies that they stayed behind. In fact, she had them killed. So I think that's what I got. I'm sure I got a boat found with a Viking boat with Viking toolkit on it. But again, I can't prove that there's her. But it makes an interesting story, eh?
Yep.
Keeping their clothes on, eh? The 51 is a belt buckle. Iron belt buckle. These are two skulls. The Vikings traveled with horses, cows, and sheep in particular. And interestingly, on the same beach as all this stuff, I got a small skull of a small horse. And I got the skull of a bull, and his horns have been cut off. And you've seen Viking helmets, eh? What they got on them? Bull's horns. And they used to also use them to drink water and wine from. So I mean, it's pretty suspicious. It fits in really nice. Because you know, it's Viking. If it's not who I says it is, who the hell is it? Right? I mean, it matches. It matches.
Oh yeah,
It matches so good.
definitely.
It really does, doesn't it, Juanita?
Oh yeah.
I mean, you think about it, what's so, it shouldn't be so, I don't understand what's so hard for some people to believe. I mean, that really, there's only the government officials who was being stubborn. I mean, every ordinary person can accept it. I mean, the Vikings come all the way from Norway, say here, to try to come here. They come from Norway, discovering the settled of Shetland and Faroe Islands, then discovering the settled of Iceland, Greenland, Baffin Island, Labrador, Lansom Islands. They come all that way, and they couldn't drop down the White Back and Lansom Islands. That's only a walk in the park, consider how far they already come, eh? There's one over there going 29 at the Ice Museum too. And that's up there. There was a researcher come here in 2004 from Iceland, and he wanted to see Viking artifacts. I showed him some stuff. He took pictures of my axes. And when he went back home, he sent me an email and said, Kent, he said, there's two of the South Arm axes got twins here in the National Museum in Reykjavik, Iceland. There's too much stuff, I mean, there's too much just to be coincidence and dismissed. That's what the government's trying to do to me, right?
Oh yeah, definitely.
But,
That's what they're trying to do.
hopefully with this will create a groundswell perhaps and they'll grow, and after a while, I mean, they're going to have to admit it, I guess.
Yeah.
That's an interesting tool there, Murray. Number 6, he's an iron tool, maybe a punch, but he got a bone handle on it. Right? You know, it's a two pieces of bone often in junk. You got a little dip in the bone. You can see the dip there on it. And that bone is so old now, it's more like stone. It's like a bone turned to stone. I tell you, that's old.
Yeah.
And that's Viking. No doubt about it. And here's how I know. Because native people used to use bone handles, but they never had iron. French and English people had iron, but they used all wooden handles. Viking people had iron, and they used both wood and bone handles. It was known for it to be only Viking.
Yeah.
Right? I tell you, that's not very young.
No, that's for sure.
That's ancient stuff, man. The smaller things now, like that one in there, the piece of wheat, that's a piece of stone that's been worked. The Vikings worked stone. Maybe it's mandel or something you see, like it fits into around a human's fingers, eh? Pretty good. Piece right inside. And the next one's a piece of copper. A piece of pottery. Something else there. This one there, number 10, is I don't know what it is, but he got gold on it, gold leaf on it. And Vikings used to use gold leaf. The well-to-do crowd now, you know, the rich man would be able to do it. But I can't tell you what kind of tool it is, but it got gold leaf on it. Vikings worked glass, other than two pieces of glass, the blue and the grey one. They've been melted. It's almost like they made an attempt to make an handle and they fucked up, pardon me French. That's what it looks like, but it's obviously been melted, right? And Vikings used to use melt glass.
Yeah.
This axe here looks pretty in good shape. You come out of a bog. That's why it's in such good shape. Hey, things last forever in a bog. Now I can't prove he's Viking, but some of the Viking axes are sharpened on one side. This guy's sharpened on one side, just like the stone went up in the ridge. I think it's a boat builder's axe.
That's what they tell me.
Or maybe that, yeah. But what I've realized, they had a different axe for each purpose, right? If they're splitting planks, they have a certain kind. If they were doing finer work, they have a certain kind. For fighting, they'd have a different kind. So depending on the purpose, they'd have a different axe. Look at the handle's got an axe point. He's not putting straight marks. He's putting it on an angle. I think that might be what's left of a sword. And the two holes are where they would have ripped it down the wooden end, right?
Yeah. So what's this piece right here?
That's a piece of wood. I took that because I thought it looked like maybe a toy for a kid. Something similar to a Viking man. But no, I can't prove that way. That might just be a piece of driftwood. It looks interesting. You know, I can't. But I took, because I had this one there first thing one in it, this little guy over here, this piece of wood.
Yeah.
This here is their Viking fertility god, Frey. See his big dicky bird, look. Fertility, right?
Yeah.
Pray to this god for kids or good crop.
Yeah.
This little fella here made wood. He's something similar. And you can see where his dicky bird used to be, but he's broke off. You can have a look at it, north. Number 5, look. Look straight down. You can see where his dicky bird used to be. He's on his profile. And his dicky bird is broke out. So and he got an oar up to his ass, so you can stick a pencil up there. Gets really kinky. I don't know what he was up to. But maybe they put it on a stick and use it in some kind of ceremony, right? To pray for children or pray for good crops or something like this, right?
I don't know.
But I think the best displays I got is the one upstairs. That really, I mean, the pitfalls and the matching geography and then that stone is incredible.
Yeah.
And I think that's a really great display over there.
It's all kit. I think you're doing a wonderful job.
To come all this way, what's to stop them going last minute down the bottom of White Bay?
Yeah.
When you consider how far they come back, I mean, gee whiz, Lance Meadows to White Bay is about 1/100.
It's nothing.
The distance they already travel. And these are supposed to be great navigators, explorers, adventurers. Surely God, they come down there to look.